Now, ladies and gentlemen, we talked 2 Sundays ago about the great philosophy of aesthetics which permeates the making of Indian ancient art. It is not only paintings and sculptures, but also permeates music, singing, all that is associated with ancient Indian art. And as I mentioned before, all art was supposed to be made in the service of the divine. All art was supposed to be made in order to help us on the path towards the eternal knowledge. Then we also spoke in the Sunday after that about the making of deities, about the personification of the qualities inside us, and how when we meditate upon the deities, we awaken those wonderful qualities within us. And when those qualities fill us completely, at that stage, we have become the deity. Now, today we will also look at uh, Bhakti Yoga. We will look at the adoration of the deity through a very personalized giving of oneself, through a very personalized love of the deity, through losing ourselves in divine love, and in the process, finding ourselves, finding the better side of ourselves, finding the beauty within us, using, in fact, the akarshan within us, even that in the service of our search for the truth, in the search of the divine. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it will give me great pleasure to share with you a film which has beautiful paintings of the tradition of Krishna worship, marvelous paintings of the Kangra school of miniature art. And as I say this, I will also mention that this is part of the series I made of 26 documentaries on the paintings of India. And museums all over the world cooperated enormously in an unprecedented way all across India and across the USA, across Europe, across so many other places. It was unprecedented the way that museums came forward to help in the making of these films. I remember uh, in London, in the British Library, Jerry Losty very kindly opened up at 7:30 in the morning in order to give us a longer hours to be able to work on the paintings there. I remember Karen Smith in the San Diego Museum of Art, who opened up at 8 in the morning but worked on Saturday and Sunday in order to open out all the reserve collections. Yes, the reserve collection were opened out at all the museums that we shot at. And so these films actually have the finest selected masterpieces which I saw of the various schools of Indian miniature paintings, whether they are kept in Indian museums, whether they are kept in the Harvard University Museum, whether they are kept in the British Library, whether they're kept in the Rietberg Museum, and so many others. So that has been a very fortunate thing that these films will bring before you the finest of the art. And ladies and gentlemen, I take great pleasure in bringing before you, with my many thanks to Doordarshan, who sponsored the making of my 26 documentaries on the paintings of India. I bring before you the film on Kangra miniature paintings. And I would request Mr. Arun Bhargav to please do another excellent screening like he had just done. Thank you. Art is the reshaping of reality by man to present it in an understandable way. As the artist recreates the world around him, it is shaped by how he sees it and what he believes in. The Indian artist did not attempt to depict only the material reality around him. He wished to share the complete experience of the moment, not just the photographic presentation of the shapes around him. Beauty for the Indian artist has been a reflection of the glory of God. In fact, for the ancient artist, the experience of beauty, the ecstasy on seeing nature or art which is truly beautiful, has been considered as akin to Brahmanand or the final bliss. Join us on this journey into the heart of the Indian tradition of painting. Come with us to the gorge of the Vaghora river, where Ajanta was created, to the courts of the Mughals and the Deccani Sultans. Journey with us through the deserts of Rajasthan and the icy lands of Ladakh and Lahaul Spiti. In the verdant south and in the gentle hills of the north, experience the compassionate view of life that is enshrined in Indian painting.
From the 11th century onwards in India, there was a great revival of Vaishnavism. With it came the Bhakti cult, which was the doctrine of a deep and personal love of the divine, where the soul of man was seen to be yearning always for the Lord who created him, for the tenderness and ecstasy of being united with him. The poet saints of the Bhakti movement wrote beautiful verses about the legendary lives and the love of Krishna and Radha, of Ram and Sita, and of Shiva and Parvati. The love of the divine figures for each other became the ideal of the people. Images of their divine love were used by poets and painters to portray their own love for the Creator. The Bhakti movement led to the making of beautiful miniature paintings in Rajasthan. These paintings followed earlier traditions and had simple and bold compositions. They had an energy and vitality which was complemented by a palette of vibrant colors. After the 16th century, the Rajput chieftains and painters were deeply influenced by the art of the Mughal court. Their paintings acquired the refinement and grace which was developed in the imperial ateliers. The Rajputs travelled to the hills of present-day Himachal Pradesh, and in this beautiful sanctuary there blossomed many exquisite schools of painting. Along with refinement and technical skills, the hill painters brought to their works a gentleness and humanity which was unmatched. These paintings are simple and direct expressions with a pulsating life and a natural warmth. In the paintings of Garhwal and Guler, there is a delicacy and a deep sense of spiritual grace. These styles led to and flowered in one of the greatest styles of miniature paintings in all of India, the Kangra school. Kangra is a small hill state tucked away in the bosom of the green hills of Himachal Pradesh, far from the clamour of the plains. Sansar Chand, who came to the throne in 1775, was the first great patron of painting in Kangra. His ateliers attracted many painters from nearby Guler, who brought with them a refined and delicate manner of painting. Here in Kangra, we see the development of the finest expressions in art. A great confluence took place. The burnished delicacy of the Mughal idiom met the deep spirituality of the land. With the refinement and technical skills in their hands, the spirit of the warm and simple hill painters took wings. They created a large body of paintings, which are among the finest made by man. These paintings bring to us the gentlest and most tender thoughts. They enshrine a deep love for all of creation in a manner which is intensely personal and deeply devoted. Here we see Sansar Chand celebrating Janmashtami, the festival of the birth of Lord Krishna. The world of Kangra paintings is one of tenderness and love. It is the spirit of Bhakti, the ecstatic joy of adoration, the supreme joy of the giving of oneself in the love of God, which pervades the entire world of these paintings. There is a tenderness to the touch of the painter and a sense of joyousness that is rarely to be seen in the entire realm of art. The Bhagavad Puran consists of 18,000 verses, which were composed in the 10th century in praise of Lord Vishnu and his manifestation upon this earth in the form of Lord Krishna. These verses describe the life, the adventures, and the miraculous deeds of Krishna from the time of his birth. The scenes of Krishna's childhood exploits are particularly endearing and evoke the tender sentiments of the worshippers. Here we see beautiful paintings on the exquisite theme of baby Krishna. The Lord is a mischievous child, with his playful antics giving no end of trouble to his mother. The humanity of these themes, of the interaction between a mother and a naughty and irrepressible child, touch the heart immediately. These simple paintings in their rustic settings are among the most endearing.
These paintings speak directly to people across cultures and across time because they deal with such fundamentally human subjects. The love of parents for children, the love of a child for a mother, watching Yashoda look into Krishna's mouth and accuse him of eating mud, and instead finding there the entire universe. I think everyone is caught in that spell who sees these pictures.
These images of the Lord as a toddler and his naughty pranks, the little blue boy stealing butter with his friends, getting caught, being scolded by his mother, and pretending to be sorry. These images win the heart completely. In the 11th century, the poet Jayadev wrote the Geet Govind, which brings to us the most lyrical images of the love of Radha and Krishna. The exquisite verses bring to life the emotions of the divine lovers in scenes of their separation, longing, and joyous reunion. The poetic themes of love, are painted with great tenderness by the Kangra artist. She looks at him, and yet she also looks beyond. The whole of creation is in her eyes. The tenderness with which Krishna looks at her reminds us that it is not only the soul which yearns to be reunited with the Lord waits with as much longing for the soul to come back to him. These are images of intense love. The tenderness in these paintings transcends all barriers and lifts us to another plane where there is complete caring and harmony. The Lord lovingly places an anklet on Radha's foot. He paints her feet as she looks on shyly. Radha and Krishna, in their love of each other, exchange their clothes. The mischievous Lord hides the clothes of Radha's companions, the gopis, as they bathe in the river. The gopis shyly and modestly try to cover themselves as the Lord looks on playfully. The human souls lost in love for the Lord find every opportunity to be close to him. The Lord cajoles Radha as she turns away in annoyance. In these paintings, all of nature responds to the emotions of the divine lovers. The very trees and the flowers seem to tenderly reach out to touch and caress the painted figures. These paintings appear to be filled with a sense of adoration for the world of creation. Every blossoming bough, every bird, the grassy banks are all filled with the joy and the beauty of creation. The cows adore the Lord and wish to be with him. They surround Krishna with the look of utmost devotion. As in the paintings of Krishna, the eternal story of the Ramayana is presented in the Kangra paintings with a delicate and human touch. We share the pain of Ram when his beloved Sita is taken away from him. We see Sita in a distant land pining for her Lord. The paintings of Kangra bring these religious subjects tenderly close to us.
The feelings that come from a direct gaze on an Indian painting can sweep away the rational structures that one has for appreciating the kind of cosmic dimensions of landscape, the macrocosmic understanding. And you get there through the detail in Indian painting and through the immediate experience that allows you to go through doors. And I think it makes Indian painting that much more accessible to more people. It's really a painting of smiles and tears and blood and human experience that is left there for you to feel as much as you can then from that leap to the understandings and the broad philosophical concepts that these experiences are embedded in Indian philosophy and religious thought.
The all-powerful Lord Shiv appears in these paintings as a fond and loving family man. We feel an intimate closeness with the gods in these paintings as they are imbued with emotions we can relate to deeply. Who created these exquisite renderings of love and devotion? Surely it had to have been the hand of the Almighty guiding the hand of the artist. And it was. The people who painted these paintings were not merely artists with the highest skill, but also intensely devoted human beings who considered every work of theirs to be an offering to the Almighty. Pahari paintings transport you to an enchanted place where you feel an affinity with all creation. The grass is soft and dewy under your feet, and the fragrance of the forest hangs thick in the air. There is a coolness that indicates that the monsoons are near. The strains of the sweetest music fill the air, and then, suddenly, you chance upon Krishna. Nothing could ever be more divine and touch your soul more than the sight of the Lord Himself. After many centuries, the paintings of Kangra take us back to the sense of the world created by the paintings of Ajanta. Here again there is a full and empathetic response to all of creation. This again is the work of painters who see the harmony of existence and the tender relationship between the flowers, the trees, the animals, and the people in this world. These paintings present us a joyous world. It is the joy of surrender, of the tender blossoming of the flower, the caress of the rich grass on the banks of streams, the melodious call of the birds, the peals of laughter contained in the boughs of the trees full of flowers. These are the simple delights of life in the world which the Kangra painter shares with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a marvelous quality of art. how the painter is able to convey exactly what he wishes to. Baby Krishna is pretending to be sorry. He's rubbing his eyes, but you can make out so clearly that he's not really sorry. He's he takes our heart completely, but it is a pretense of being sorry, and the painter conveys it so very convincingly. And that moment when Radha turns away in annoyance, the Hindi phrase puts it very well. मुंह फुला के बैठी. How well portrayed, how perfectly portrayed. And this is not just skill in terms of the skill of art. This is a deep connection between the mind and the heart and the skill of the art. The painter is conveying it all so well. And how beautiful it is that our qualities of attraction are personified, and that too is used to help us realize that all that there is, in fact, including our own attraction, is divine. Finally, all that there is divine. And since some of our deepest attraction is to our child, baby Krishna is made heart-wrenching, beautiful images that draw our hearts completely. What a marvelous experience. And all of it to be lost in bhakti. For us to be carried away completely in love, and therefore to find the divine within us through love. How absolutely beautiful.
Vimalji, enjoyed it very much. A couple of things I observed. The beautiful harmony and love depicted in these pictures, but there's a conspicuous absence of weapons and vulgarity. So that was very impressive for me, is how the nature was harmonious and the love was overflowing all over with a little baby boy, Krishna, or a young lad, Krishna, with Radha. So I enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. In fact, what you have noticed is such an important quality of coming from ancient Indian art, and in the finest of such paintings surviving even into the late medieval period here. In fact, right from the time of the Indus Valley civilization onwards, there is an amazing lack of images of, as you said, of vulgarity or warfare. This takes us into a world which is so full of beauty of the divine. Thank you. I'm
These
so glad.
Kangra paintings, are they from, you said, 11th century?
No, they're a little later than that. Most of them are 16th, 17th, 18th century. And they are in museums which are everywhere. And it is rare schools of art, such as Kangra, which preserve such a high quality of art, even into such a late period. Because most Indian art is at its superb and high quality only in ancient times. And thereafter, we see a steady decline. But moments like Kangra take us right back to the highest quality of art, divine, ecstatic quality of art. Thank you. So it was a great pleasure to be with all of you, and thank you very much, Mr. Arun Bhargav, and all of you for being with us and sharing this experience. And I look forward to being with you again next Sunday.